right, let's do this thing. Hello and welcome to the Cowboy Chronicles, the Oklahoman's Oklahoma State football podcast. I am Scott Wright, your host, joined by Jacob Unruh and special guest, Collin Oliver. Collin, thank you, man. We really appreciate you coming on here with us. Are you hearing us yet, Collin?
Yes, I can hear y'all now. Can y'all hear me?
All right, good deal.
All right. Collin is over. I'm just stressing out. Goodness, I feel old. Oh my God.
Hey, listen, what you missed earlier was we were talking. Scott and I have these technical difficulties all the time on our podcast.
Oh,
yeah.
Because we are old. And so you've been with us. It's fine. Welcome.
I'm not gonna lie. That's not something I want to hear right now. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Literally, I'm more than twice your age. So if Jacob's trying to throw you in with me, don't let him do that. Don't let him do that. All right, Collin. Well, listen, we've kind of given our thoughts on the game, but obviously the people that are here want to hear from you. So we're going to start with the football game itself, and just talk about this Kansas State game and you know what this matchup looks like in your eyes, and what you guys, especially on defense, can do to take advantage of opportunities on Friday night.
Yeah, well, first of all, apologies to everybody paying attention and listening to this, but I had some technical difficulties, but I feel like our game plan, our scheme for this week has been tremendous. We're just now getting a week 2 preparation of this week. Prepping for Kansas State and seeing what their offense and stuff looks like. Going through our scout plans and our game plans, and just really honing in on what these guys like to do and how we can attack them.
So in the first week of this 2-week gap, did you get some time to kind of do some self scouting and focus on yourselves for a little while before you got into K-State game plan?
Yeah, definitely. You always want to try and limit the mistakes that you made in the past, because teams are going to probably try and exploit those the next couple of weeks and see where you're lacking at in your defense. And I want to get some of those faults cleaned up as much as we can before we head on to Kansas State's game plan. And that's what we did those first 2 days. We came back from the loss at Iowa State. We just honed in on those mistakes we made and made sure we're not going to make them again. And from there, we just got to focus on Kansas State. So that's where we're all right now.
What have you seen from Kansas State offensively? What do you look to kind of, I don't know, maybe exploit? What kind of secrets can you give us there? What do you look at from them? Yeah,
just a lot of trickery, a whole lot of motions and smoke and mirrors, trying to get your eyes in the wrong place and get you off your assignment. How we limit that is by honing in our technique, like I said, and our responsibilities in each call that Coach Nauta throws our way, and just doing our job, nothing more. It's just doing what we need to do in that specific call. That's how you limit that stuff. So,
are they much different after last season with some change in personnel? You face the quarterback they have now, but Deuce Vaughn's gone, some of the receivers are gone. Are they much different?
It's the same scheme. I mean, I'm sure the offensive coordinator. I don't know honestly, but I'm sure the offensive coordinator's still there, isn't he? It's the same scheme. They do it a little bit different, but they're gonna do what they know works best. And we got them to a Big 12 championship last year. That same style of offense, and they probably perfected even more, which is even more reason why I'm lock in for this week.
Curious about this, Collin. Obviously, Oklahoma is going to be leaving the Big 12. Oklahoma State is going to be left without a natural rival. Is Kansas State a team that could sort of fit in that role a little bit?
Yeah, they would be up for that role. We have a lot of other teams for it as well. But Kansas State and Oklahoma State. I bet we had a lot of good games over the past couple of years, from what I remember. So that would be up for consideration if it's there.
In terms of memories, I want to ask first. I want to ask about 2021, but first, I want to ask this about last year, because obviously everybody remembers how difficult that was.
Mm-hmm.
How much does a game like that still linger with the team? I mean, I know it's been almost a full calendar year at this point, so I'm sure there's a good part of that you've put behind you. But how much does that linger in a week like this?
Yeah, you try not to make it linger as much as you think it will, but ultimately it's still going to be there. It left a bad taste in our mouth. And we don't want that to happen again. And, that's what we've been saying this whole week. We don't want what last year did to us happen again this year, regardless of if we're losing or winning our games. We still want to go out there and have fun playing football. We don't want to lose ourselves in the losses or, how the season's going for us. So just really focusing in on, our jobs, really. That's all we can do, regardless of what they did to us last year. It's in the past. It's going to be in our minds still, but it's in the past, so you can't really focus on it a lot. You just have to focus on, what you're going to do to them this year. So,
all right, well, let's go back to 2021 then. That was obviously a win for you guys, 31-20, really important one during that season where you guys end up going 12-2. Any good memories, any big things that stick out from that game for you?
I remember I let a kick return go for a touchdown. That's not a good memory, but it's a memory nonetheless. But I had me and Malcolm. I almost had a touchdown, fumble recovery touchdown. Malcolm got it before I did. I had a couple of TFLs that game as well, a couple of missed sacks as well. No striking memories with Kansas State. I'm not gonna lie to you. 2021, there's not a lot of them. So I was still a youngster though, so I didn't go on until about later in that season. But
all right, well, Jacob, anything else from you before we jump to some fan questions here?
I actually kind of think it's time for some fan questions. They're ask Collin questions, so it's time for them to ask some questions.
Hey, I held them long enough for my technical difficulties, so I think that hurt.
Good deal. All right, where should we start?
It's a very good question. Where do we start?
Got to raise your hand.
Make sure.
I'm now told you got to raise your hand if you want to ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm now.
If you would like to participate and jump in right now, this is your chance. Raise your hand and we'll get around to you.
If not, we can come up with more questions. We've got.
That's right. So we can talk for hours with Collin. We don't get this.
Yeah, no, and Collin's talked to us a lot though too. It's like, really wants to talk to someone else besides us. So
yeah, you guys are
right.
You guys got it growing on them.
Yeah. Collin, we were debating whether we were going to request you for post practice tomorrow just to make you come back and talk to us more.
Yeah,
we'll probably let you slide on this one, man.
I'm flattered, Scott. I'm flattered.
I remember writing about you. I was looking up the Super 30 story I wrote about you in your high school year, your senior year. So.
2021. That's right. Or 2020, I should say. That was a while ago.
Yeah.
Makes me feel
a
old.
little way back there. Wow. Oh, whatever.
All right. All right. Well, good deal. With I don't see any hands up, so we'll move on to our next segment right now. Get a little bit into you playing some linebacker, and this one we're probably going to start. But you guys brought up the Edmond Santa Fe days. Go back, whether it's Santa Fe or even farther to Little League. What other positions did you play? Because everybody knows you were a defensive end. I believe did you play some receiver or tight end at Santa Fe? And obviously now you're making the move to linebacker. But where else did you play?
Yeah, I played freshman year. I'll start freshman year high school. I played wide receiver and linebacker. And then my sophomore year is when I moved from linebacker to defensive end. I wasn't on the offensive side anymore. And then from then on, I was it's junior year, I moved back to linebacker. And my senior year, I played a little bit of linebacker, but the rest of that year, I was mostly defensive end. So it's kind of up and down, you know what I'm saying? A lot of position changes throughout my years. Little League, gosh, if I can go back that far, I'm sure I was a linebacker. I was on the defensive line in Little League. I know I was a linebacker. In middle school, I was a linebacker as well. I played a little bit of quarterback in 7th and 8th grade in middle school, but yeah, that's pretty much all I did.
I had you as a running back in that story I wrote back on the day on you. Were you a running back in Little League too? You remember
that? Yes, I was. I was a running back. I played linebacker and running back for Edmond Bulldogs, the Little League team.
Okay.
I forgot what league that's in. And then for the PCL Panthers, I played running back as well.
Awesome. Well, we have our first guest.
Right, good deal.
We have our first guest ready to ask a question, and so
What's up, man?
Get to that.
Hey, Collin. My name is Tyler. I had a question, but then somebody asked in the chat, and it kind of like motivated me to ask something more fun.
Yeah.
I know, like, when I exercise or I work out, I'm always looking forward to, my motivation is the food at the end. What is your go-to post-game meal?
Post-game meal, you got to go with the Whataburger. The one here, at least in Stillwater, is amazing. Got to go with Whataburger. I'm taking a double cheeseburger. Gosh, this make me sound like I'm fat, but a double cheeseburger, a medium fry, and a Powerade. That's the go-to right there.
No, that's awesome, man. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, we'll follow up on that. What's pregame look like? I'm guessing there's a lot of protein involved there.
Yeah, you gotta get or for me at least, I like to keep it consistent. We have a plethora of options, but I keep it narrow to spaghetti with sauce, marinara sauce, and then you have the chicken in there as well. And then you throw some corn on your plate, and that's me before a game. So.
Good deal. All right. Well, Tyler, thank you for jumping in with that. We'll circle back around to some linebacker talk. Here's one thing I'm curious about. I'm going to throw some numbers out at you first. Your true freshman season, 2021, you played 374 snaps the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, 461. This year, now that you've moved to linebacker, you played 238 already, almost 60 snaps a game.
Mm-hmm.
For a guy who obviously there were different things being asked of you as a defensive lineman, but how has the endurance aspect of this and being on the field more played into whether it's your preparation or just how difficult a Saturday can be or whatever it is?
Honestly, it's when you're playing, you don't really feel sore, none of that stuff. That's really after a post game. So during the games, I'm not gonna lie, I feel great. I'm in great shape right now. Coach Glass is amazing in that aspect, and he gets us right. But you really feel it, after the game, and it's honestly the biggest change it's made to me is that it's made me take my body more seriously. I've been going to the training room a lot more, getting in the cold tanks and hot tubs a lot more, trying to take care of my body more. So that's what I can tell a difference from my freshman and sophomore year.
All right, looks like we got another guest ready to jump in, so we'll not wait around. We'll let our next fan jump in with a question.
Hey, Collin. How you doing, man? What's up? I was curious, throughout your 3-year career at Oklahoma State, what is one part of your game that you think you've improved on the most, and where do you think you can really focus to improve on here before you take the next step to the NFL?
That's a good question. I feel like these 3 years I've improved vastly on. I wouldn't even say it's a technique thing. It's more of just feeling out the game of football. Understanding situations and why offenses do what they like to do. So I'd say my mental has improved a lot, and I want to continue to improve that, as well as a plethora of other things I want to improve on throughout the course of my career. But I'd say my mental capabilities, high IQ, I guess you could say, in terms of football IQ has improved a whole lot over these 3 years. So.
That's great to hear. What is like a typical breakdown for you look like in preparation for a game in terms of watching film, meetings, stuff like that?
Yeah, well, I get the help of my coach sometimes, but other times I watch film by myself, and I like to see what the third and longs look like. You may want to go from. You want to obviously start at 1st and 10s, see what they like to do on first downs. They may be a 50-50 team. They may run the ball a lot. They may like to pass on first downs. From there, you go to your 2nd and shorts or 2nd and longs, depending on what they like to do on first downs. And from there, you can really dissect what the team likes to do. I feel like 3rd down really tells the team, though, because what they're going to really what they're going to. That's their identity. That's what they lead on. You know what I mean? So if it's like a 3rd and short, they might like to pass a lot more than they run. And that gives you to pass more. So, and then if you get a team that likes to run more like Kansas State on 3rd down, it's to make it easier for them on 4th down to run the ball or go for it, which they do. It's I could talk on and on about it. It's just a whole lot of stuff that goes into it, but just watching the film and dissecting stuff like that is really kicked in for me. So,
very cool. Thanks, Collin.
Yep, no problem.
Awesome. Thank you, Donald, for that question. Kind of following up on that a little bit, Collin, is film study different for you now at linebacker?
Yeah, it's very different because, I mean, what I just told you, I have to look at a whole lot more stuff than just the offensive tackle and a running back and maybe a quarterback as well. I have to look at everybody on the field and all 11 guys, see what they all like to do. And, from there, just, put myself on the field with the play that we may be installing that week and, see what I do in a certain play and what my responsibility needs to be in that play. So, like I said, there's a whole lot that goes into it, but yeah, film studies is very important now that I'm a linebacker. Not that it wasn't important to defensive line. It's just, you have to know what you're doing at linebacker at all times. So.
On kind of the other side of that, are you still as in tune with maybe what a right tackle does? Or did you have more time to devote to that when you were a defensive end, whereas maybe you don't have as much time to focus on little technical things like that now?
I would say timing isn't really an issue for me. I try and make as much time as I can. It's really just how often I watch a tackle. I may not watch it as much as I used to playing defensive line because, honestly, it wouldn't be that important to me as a linebacker that would be as a defensive lineman. But when we do get in those 4-down situations when I'm on the line, that's what the film study comes into play, and that's when I can, showcase what I was watching on film, and just go from there. So,
all right, one last question before we wrap up this segment, and then I'll give Jacob another chance because I keep cutting him off here. But one thing I've always enjoyed, and you told me this story last year after practice one time about kind of the origin of your sack celebration and what it initially meant, and then what it came to mean. And I didn't notice you have one sack this year, but I didn't notice if you did the celebration. So is it continuing? Is my first question, and then the second part of the question is if you could just share the story of kind of the full transition of the sack celebration.
Yeah. So that one sack that I had this year, it's. The celebration is still going to be there. It's just I felt like it wasn't the time for it. You know what I mean? You don't want to, do all that stuff when you're down. I feel like once our team starts clicking and once we start having, more fun, and going out there and balling, that's when I can start having fun on the field and showcasing that celebration. But when the time's right, I should say, that's when it's going to come back. And for me, the celebration really just started when I was playing 2K, and I saw the celebration on 2K. I thought it was pretty cool. So I took it from him, and then a couple of guys turned it into like a money thing. And when originally it wasn't a money thing, it was like I think someone was throwing roses or something like that. So it turned into a money thing. Transitioned to spreading the wealth. This is the slogan I came up with, and from there we went pretty viral from there. So
I remember you telling me that story last year too, and I was asking different guys last season about, hey, all their sack celebrations, Brock Martin and his, hog tying, and Ty Lacey's baseball swing and stuff. And who's got the best sack celebration on the team now that those guys are gone to and on your lap?
You know what I'm going to say, Jack. It was me. I don't think anybody my sack celebration like at all. So that's no knock to the other guys. They just don't have it like me. You know what I mean? They don't have the celebration. I can come up with a celebration for every one of my teammates, and it'd be hard. They just, I come up with a lot of celebrations. So I got handshakes and all that stuff. It's all off the dome too. I know what I'm doing. So
can you design them then? Do you design the sack celebrations for other guys? They can.
Oh no. I could do it for any of the other guys who want to. They just don't ask me, But everybody knows what mine is, and I made it hard. Originally, people wouldn't have thought it was pretty cool, but I made it cool. So they need to come get at me if they want a celebration.
That's awesome. That's great. Well, we've got another fan ready to ask a question, so we'll bring that fan on here to ask you a question, Collin.
How's it going?
Hey, Collin, how you doing?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Good. I kind of have a two-part question for you. First off, what game are you most looking forward to this year? And what's been the most difficult quarterback you've had to play against so far in your career?
I say game I'm looking forward to probably. I'm gonna say Bedlam. It's always a fun game, and we have it at home this year, so that'll be a pretty cool game. Getting to see a couple of my buddies over there in Norman. Trace, for example, and all those guys over there. that I know. It'll be a pretty cool environment, I'm sure. Hopefully it's at night, and hopefully all this stuff goes good for us. And what was your second part of the question? My bad, I forgot.
Yeah, well, what's been like the most difficult quarterback or like your favorite quarterback to play against so far in your career?
That is a great question. I've played against a lot of quarterbacks. I'd say Brock Purdy. Yeah, maybe. I gotta go Caleb Williams. Actually, yeah, that was. Yeah, I gotta go Caleb Williams there. I just thought about it. Yeah, easily the hardest man I play against. Easily.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no problem, bro.
We're gonna talk Bedlam more later, but Caleb Williams made me think of that run he had late in the game against you guys that made everyone's heart drop. I forget, where were you on that play?
I was getting triple team and getting put on my butt on their sideline. Yeah.
So you were way over the play.
Yeah, I was nowhere near it. I tried to work a couple moves on this tackle. The guard comes off on me, and then the center came off on me, and then there was wraps from there. The dude was gone. So, yeah.
How difficult was Caleb? Like, what made him so tough?
I mean, it's just stuff you can't teach, right? I mean, like finding certain holes and throwing these passes that you just can't teach. Off one foot and get the sidearm and all that stuff. There's just a lot of stuff you can't teach that he showed out there. So it was a real tough play against him. That dude's hard.
All right, we have another guest ready for another question too. We'll bring the next guest on as well.
All right, bet.
Hey, Collin, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Good. All right, so my sort of off the cuff question here: what do you listen to before a game? What's your hype music? Is it the same? Is it a genre, or like the one song that just like does it for you every time?
There's a genre. I listen to a lot of music. I'm very versatile when it comes to that. I'll go country a little bit. I can't listen to country all the time, but I'll go country a little bit. I love R&B. I love neo soul. I love a little bit of pop music, rock music, a little bit of rap. So all that stuff. I say my go-to right now. You know what's funny is I listen to it on the walk every single time. It's called Reasons by Earth, Wind and Fire. I just get a vibe. It's a great vibe when you walking down, you see all these people and you listen to that song. I don't know what it is, but it's really called one of my favorite songs by Earth, Wind and Fire. So Reasons by
That's awesome.
Yeah, go listen to it.
All their stuff is just like sonically, it just sounds so good too. You know what I mean? Especially like if you're plugged in and it's just like it hits right.
It does.
Right on. Very cool, man. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Tony, for the question. I think we've got Scott back with us here, and
I am back. I came in right on some talk about Earth, Wind, and Fire, so I'm gonna have to go subscribe to my own podcast and listen because I want to hear that conversation without making Collin go over all of it again. Before we move on, there's one question that I've been really curious about. What game is the jersey on your wall behind you from?
Fiesta Bowl 2021. Yeah.
All right.
And then
I had a feeling that might be it, but I wasn't positive.
Yeah. Both of those gloves I wore in the bowl game last year, and then the ones at the bottom I wore at the Fiesta Bowl 2021. So, yeah. Pretty cool.
I like it.
My mom afraid of what was tell her I said thank you.
Good deal. So, is there got some grass stains on that thing and all that then too?
Oh, yeah. It stinks, but you can't really smell it. If you took it out the frame, it'd stink. You get grass stains all over that thing, especially on the front. You can't see the front, but it's bad. It's pretty bad.
Well, good deal, Jacob. I'm going to yield to you since I missed so much. I don't want to start repeating things that you guys talked about while I was having a lot of technical difficulties.
I think we're actually ready to move on to the next segment here. We're rolling right along here, and so we talked some more about the sacks and how he still thinks he has the best sack celebration on the team, which I'm not going to disagree with him. All that. Everything. So now we're going to move on to the part where we talk more about your personality a little bit here, Collin. And you mentioned Whataburger as your go-to post-game meal earlier. Is that your favorite restaurant in Stillwater, or you have a different one?
No, I'd have to say my favorite restaurant is probably Red Rock. Just the amount of food you can get out of there and the versatility from there. It's It's amazing. I love Red Bars.
Yeah, they're really good. Their cookies are really good too.
Yeah. I like the sausage waffle thing. I don't know what they call it, but sausage waffle sandwich or something like that. It's great.
That sounds good. I'm a Thai Loco guy myself, so
Oh yeah.
I love going over to Thai Loco.
That place is good too.
Collin, do you have a favorite Mike Gundy story from your time at Oklahoma State?
Texas 2021. When we Texas 2021, he came in there. Actually, this last year too, when we meet him, came in the locker room and he tried to start a speech, but middle of the speech just started breakdancing and everybody just got lit. It's probably one of the funniest moments I've ever been a part of. One of the funnest moments I've ever been a part of. It was oh my God, it was a time. We had all the coaches in there dancing too. Everybody had their phones out recording. So yeah, that was pretty fun. That was probably my favorite one.
My favorite part about that moment was that at Texas in 2021, the interview room is a tiny little room right next to the locker room. So we could hear all of this stuff going on. We couldn't understand what was happening, but we knew that you guys were really excited about a lot of stuff going on in there. It was pretty entertaining just to sit there and hear the noise coming through the wall.
I've got to ask, did Jim Knowles dance that day?
I think he did. I can't. Oh, Coach Knowles is so low key about it though. I can't remember. I think he did though. Oh, Coach Knowles. He probably did know him.
Even if he did, it was probably pretty subtle, right?
Yeah,
like it wasn't break dancing.
Nah, he wasn't break dancing. He wasn't getting love. He was not getting love.
He's probably sitting in the corner, just kind of shaking a little bit, kind of swaying, isn't he? That's probably some Knowles for you.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
No, Coach Knowles.
Oh man, hey Collin, we've had a lot of fans here, and of course more of them can jump in if they want to ask some questions, and of course raise your hand if you want to jump in. But just a kind of a broad question about the fans. What do the fans mean to you?
Yeah, they mean a lot to me. Obviously, I love going out there and playing for our fans. I'm not gonna lie. That's really one of the biggest things I like about college football is you get to play in front of a group of about 60,000 people cheering your team on. So that's definitely one of the funnest things to do. Is play in front of them and play for them. I know it's been a little rocky these first couple games, but I'll give them a word of advice. Just stay patient with us. We're getting everything figured out, and stuff is going to start clicking for us. But besides that, man, they mean a lot to us, especially the support and the loyal ones. We stay 10 toes down for our team, regardless of what any of our games outcomes may be. So just those loyal and true, man. I love it, and they mean the world to me and our team.
There's a little bit of a curveball, so if you don't have a story, that's okay. But do you have like a weird story of like running into a fan at a place where you didn't expect to see somebody, or just a really fun fan interaction that you've had somewhere that you maybe weren't expecting it?
Yeah, I had a couple in CVS when I was picking up some meds. Some of those the doctors back there working, or They were talking, and I went up there, and they didn't notice me. I had a hood on at first. They didn't notice me, and I told them my name, and it was like three of them. They gave me like a big, and that was pretty cool to me. Cause I don't consider myself that big of a name, but that was real cool for me. Just I don't know, it gave me a smile. I laughed and I said they had to take pictures, and I took pictures with them. It was a pretty cool moment for me, honestly. Maybe for them it was cool, but for me that was insane.
One other thing, I don't think you guys would have talked about this one on our list. So if you did, Jacob, just jump in and stop me. But do you have a favorite team tradition?
I gotta say singing our alma mater after a win. I mean, there's no other answer, right? That's one of my favorite things to do. I used to, brush it off as a freshman, and last year a little bit I did when we win, but this year I'm embracing it, and it's real cool. It's real cool going out there and doing that stuff. So I may have to hop in the band one time, and like direct them or something like that. I feel like that'd be a pretty cool deal, but no, it's doing the alma mater after a win is definitely my favorite tradition.
Maybe the band is if you win Bedlam, right? Maybe that's what you do. You jump up there and lead the band.
You might have a good idea for me. I might have to do that. I'm just thinking about it right now.
Well, speaking of Bedlam wins in Stillwater, they rushed the field after that one in 2021. Did you have to kind of battle your off the field that day?
Yeah, I was actually sitting on the bench for a cool 5 minutes after that last play. I couldn't catch my breath. Everybody was just on me and stuff. And finally, when I got up from the bench, the field was full. I had to direct my way through. I had somebody who guided me through. I don't know who it was, but he just led me to the locker room. I was so tired I couldn't think. There's a lot of fan stops, a lot of pictures, a lot of head taps and hard shoulder pad hits, but it was pretty fun.
All right, I think we've got another get ready to jump in and ask Collin Oliver a question.
Hey, Collin, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, man.
So I got a question for you. How do you feel about Coach Prime and Buffalo coming into the Big 12? And what are your thoughts about, what they've been able to do so far this year?
Yeah, I think they're a big brand and they're going to continue to grow. I feel like, next year their recruiting efforts are going to, it's going to be effortless recruiting-wise. They're going to get stars after stars coming in there, especially seeing what they're doing this year. So, that's going to be no problem for them. They're going to have a great group next year, and they're going to come into this conference, and they're gonna make some noise. They're gonna be a real good team, and playing for Coach Prime, I'm sure they ain't nothing like it. I'm real impressed with what they're doing so far. I feel like they're going to continue to grow. They're a great team.
Yeah, definitely excited to see them. Well, rest of this year, but next year as well.
No doubt.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that question. Collin, following up on that a little bit, obviously no time is limited for you because you're a junior already. You don't know what schedules is going to be like in future Big 12s. But have you ever been to Colorado just like on a vacation or anything?
I've been through Colorado. I've never stayed there. I've driven through Colorado a couple of times, but I've never stayed there for a vacation.
It's an interesting place. I've covered a couple of games up there, and players talk about the thin altitude, the thin air of the altitude making things a little bit difficult. You gotta be prepared for it and figure it out. It's tough.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I didn't know how serious it was, but I'm sure it is pretty tough to play up here.
All right,
I was going to deal. You've also got a vacation in Colorado sometime, Collin. You got to go somewhere on vacation. It's a wonderful place to be.
I'm not a big vacation guy. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'd rather just stay home than go out. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay.
I'm not gonna hate on that.
Hey, a little fun fact for y'all. That's a little fun fact for y'all.
Okay. Well, that was actually one of our questions. It's just kind of what goals and interests you have outside of football.
I have a lot of aspirations outside of football. I'd be lying to you if I told you specifically what I wanted to do. I know I want to do something in the marketing field and with branding. I've yet to truly dive into that. My focus right now is obviously football and what I can do in my future in football. But until then, I'm just obviously I want to get a degree as well. Y'all know me. I'm not a scholar, but I'm a degree. But no, it's future plans to me just override future plans of football for me override what I'd like to do outside of football as of right now. Not that I'm not planning on that and stuff, you know what I mean? But I'm really focused on where this football thing could take me right now. So. Yeah, it's a long answer for a short question, but yeah.
No, you're good. Your parents will be proud to hear that you want to get that degree too. I bet because they're athletes too, right? I know your dad played college football and your mom was an athlete. Just kind of what was their influence and what does sports kind of mean to you growing up too?
Yeah, it meant the world to me. My dad played a sports team, my mom too, basketball and football, and they met in there. And sports have been around my family for a long time. Going back to my grandfather and my grandma. So yeah, man, it's been a part of my life for a long time. And I that's what I'm saying. I know nothing else but, as of right now in my life, I know nothing else but football. Growing up, I knew nothing but football. Obviously, my mom taught me. She was the one to give me my grades and stuff like that. But I was always just a sports guy. Football, I want to play sports. I want to do this and that. And I put myself in a great position to do well in football and worry about my future in football as well. Man, it's been a part of my life for a long time. Sports.
All right, man. Well, we'll jump in with a few more football questions, and if any other fans want to jump in as well, we got some time for that. I'm told you have a 9 p.m. bedtime, so we'll try to wrap up before that.
Okay. Yes, a little cursing.
Right. So, what with the way things have gone the last couple of weeks and this season overall, where does improvement start? What's kind of the first step to getting you guys on track to what you guys know you're capable of?
There's two things, man. Practice and film. We have the guys to do what we want to do. It's just a matter of doing that stuff, really keying in on why you want to do the stuff that we're capable of doing. And if you truly want to do the stuff we're capable of doing, and if you want to do the stuff that we're capable of doing, keying in on film and practice is going to be a big thing for us. And it'll dictate the rest of our season, how many guys want to come along with this, and just really go on this journey with us. Because I'm telling you guys that I've been saying this since spring ball, and I've never felt a doubt about what we can be and what we want to be. I feel like we can do that. It's just going to take a lot of locking in and a lot of practice and film setting, man. That's all you can do. So once we get all that stuff figured out, things will start to click, and before you know it, good things will happen for us.
All right. Well, they just showed the schedule graphic. You guys are home for 4 of the next 5, which happens to be nice. At the end of that, I know you're not a guy to be looking ahead too far, but we won't get a chance to bring you back for Bedlam week as far as we know. So we gotta talk a little bit about that game and that rivalry, obviously being the Big 12 era. How big would a win be in that ball game?
It'll be huge for us. I'm not going to say that like all these other games don't matter as well, because they do. And I'll tell you guys straight up, I could honestly, as a football player, care less about who we play. I just want to win every game that we can. But I know that Bedlam is a huge rivalry for our fans, and I understand that. I'm not blind to it. So it's going to be a huge game for not only our fans but for us, because it is they're going to the SEC next year, and it'll be a great atmosphere. I know our fans will bring the juice, and I feel like by then we should be clicking. So things should go all right for us in that game, and I'm looking forward to it for sure.
And now you've got plans to go direct the band. So,
yeah, I got it's on my bucket list. I got to direct the band. And that's my only motivation for me.
Well, another motivation might be, you mentioned him earlier, but you're opposite Trace Ford now, and not in a negative way here, because I know you love Trace. We all love Trace. Mm-hmm. Just kind of what's the relationship like? What's it gonna be like on the opposite side from him?
Yeah, it'll be crazy. First time since I was probably on JV as a freshman in high school that I'm on the opposite sideline of Trace. It's gonna be very different. Seeing him out there with 30 on and all that good stuff flying around. But I'll tell you one thing. I'm excited to see what he's done. He should have had a touchdown yesterday, by the way, but I'm not gonna talk about that. I clowned him for it.
That's good. I need him to.
Yeah.
No,
Those hands are phones.
but no, he's gonna do great things for OU. I'm just glad that he's having fun there, and he's not regretting his decision to go there. Which is, I mean, you'd hate to do that if you're transferring somewhere, and you go to a place and you don't like where you're at, and you don't like how things are going for you. But Trace is the complete opposite of that. He's enjoying his time there. He's loving what they're doing with him. And I've been watching a lot of film on him. We get it on our cloud, and I just glazed through a couple of games that they played, and he looks real good out there. But yeah, it's going to be real crazy seeing him. I just can't wait to see him after the game and dab it up with him. Just chat it up with him a little bit. So yeah, it'll be pretty crazy though. It'll be pretty crazy.
So you mentioned he took number 30. What did you think of that?
I'm not gonna lie. I know a lot of people probably didn't like. I loved it. I loved it. It was cool. Me and him having the same number. I'm not gonna lie though. I make it look better, but I'm not gonna tell him that. But no, it's a pretty cool thing. Him having 30. I don't know why. I don't even think that number means a lot to me. It's just like I've just been wearing this as my freshman year, so maybe I don't know. It'll be crazy though. It'll be crazy just seeing him in that. I mean, it's not that big of a deal to me, but it's a number. Well, it looks cool.
So was it just a team issue that you showed up? That's what they handed you?
Honestly, Scott, I came to OSU wearing 81 spring of my freshman year, and I was getting clowned for that. So I just asked Coach Clemens, "What's another number you guys have that's available?" He said 30, and I was like, "Yeah, let's go with 30." I wanted to wear 18, which is my high school number, or 25, but Jason Taylor had that number at the time. So 30 it was, and here we are. So.
Yeah, I got a feeling JT wasn't giving up 25.
Nah, he was, especially not to a freshman.
All right. Well, Jacob, you got anything else? If not, I think we're about to the end of this thing. Get Collin in bed in time for bedtime.
Sleepy time.
Yeah, we gotta get him his beauty sleep. So.
All right. Well, deal. Hey, we want to thank Collin Oliver, of course, for coming on the Cowboy Chronicles. Thank you to the people at prediction.com for putting this whole thing together, and thanks for all the fans who jumped in and asked some questions or just followed along and listened. Put up with our technical difficulties that seeing Collin had to fight through. So we got it done. This was a lot of fun. Hopefully we can do this again in the future. That would be fantastic. But that'll do it from here. Thank you for listening to the Cowboy Chronicles and following along here on prediction.com.